You might be wondering, Bryn, who asked for this video? Literally no one, but I kind of want to make it anyway. So I recently saw someone do a video of their top games that they've ever played. And I was like, I kind of want to do that too. But before I tell you my favorite games, I want you to listen carefully. You and me, we are different people. We have had different experiences. We have gone through different circumstances. We have been raised with different values. So we grew up in our own respective lives and developed different tastes for different things. But what connects us is that we both love video games. And that's great. That's what connects us to each other. So if you judge me on what I like... I'm kidding. Sorry. Didn't mean to grab your neck there. I'm just saying we can live in a world where I rank Pokemon over Last of Us and we'll both be fine. Now, is that the case for this video? Maybe. You just have to watch and see. The point I'm trying to make is that I have a certain reason why I ranked the way I did. So there's like so many influences, like just my personal taste. Nostalgia is definitely going to be a heavy one. How often do I play it? How often do I think about the game? Is it worth replaying often? Or is it just like one of those experiences that you kind of just like play one time and you're like, that was fun. And there are some games out there, they could be a 10 out of 10. And if I play it, like it probably is like a great game, but I just don't like it personally. For example, Last of Us 2 is notoriously not well received by the general audience as they were with Last of Us 1. So people, at least like, you know, the critics, they rank it like a 10 out of 10. But personally, I didn't really like the game. Doesn't mean that it's a bad game. It's just one that I didn't like because it wasn't executed in the way that I wanted to, but it's still, you know, not a bad game. So like those two things can exist simultaneously and still be true. Like it could still be a good game, but that doesn't mean I have to like it, you know? And the same goes for you. If you think Last of Us 2 was great, that's great. I love that for you. I'm glad you enjoyed the game because it is a really good game. I just personally didn't like it. And there are some other games that are, you know, really good, but I'm just like, it's all right. I'm just saying that you don't need to be offended because of my opinion. You can still be right about your opinion and I can still be right about mine. Like, after all, this is a low stakes situation. Like, I can, you know, say my opinion and, you know, no one will get hurt. And if there's a game that you're like, Bryn, you should really like this game and it's not on the list, I promise you will be okay. And there are some games that I haven't played that aren't going to be on the list. I mean, there's millions of games. You can't expect for me to play like every single one, despite, you know, me being a gaming channel on my other channel, which you should go follow at Brittany Bun. You can also comment down below what your top 10 games are. You know, you can also recommend some games that, according to my list, you might think that I like. So, you know, I'm always down to play new games. And even though these are all my favorite games that I've ever played, doesn't mean it's gonna suit everyone. Because, you know, as I said before, everyone has different tastes, different perspectives, different, you know, just a lot of different things that influence why they play certain games. So this is not games that I recommend. These are just games that I personally like that you might end up liking if you want to give it a try. So I do have a few games that I haven't, you know, really finished, but I see potential in them and I want to give them an honorable mention. So the first one is going to be Solitaire. Elden Ring. I played it one time. I really liked it. It's very challenging and I honestly didn't think that I was going to like it, but the storytelling, the environments, the characters, they are very, very interesting and very like well done. And I also love the music. So like a lot of aspects about that game I really like, but I just haven't returned back to it because in terms of gameplay, it is challenging for me to play it and it's kind of like outside of my comfort zone, but I do want to revisit it sometime because I really do like the game. Honestly, might play it on my gaming channel. I'm not sure because it's been a minute since that first time I uploaded it. I think it's been like a year or 2 years, honestly. Another game that I really like but I haven't finished is Spider-Man. You know, before they did the face change. I am one of those people that preferred the first face over the second face. The second face just makes me really upset. Like, I know why they changed it and all that, and that, you know, they had like their valid reasons as to why they needed to change it. But me personally, I preferred the other face. Another game that I really liked but I haven't finished is Persona 5 Royal. Even though I'm playing it on my channel, it's just like the pros and cons of the game are kind of just like constantly teetering. So even though I like it, there's a part that I'm stuck on. So it's just kind of like ways together, so it wasn't really able to make it to the list at all. Which is like one of those games that people are like, this game is a 10 out of 10, that I'm just like, I mean, it's all right, but I can't, you know, give full judgment because I haven't fully finished it. And now that I've said this, let's, you know, get started with the actual list. Now, this one that's ranked at the bottom might hurt some of y'all emotionally, because this might just be your favorite game of all time, but I can't properly rank it super high because I'm not that far into the campaign. And I know I already mentioned the games that I haven't finished that still didn't make it to the list, but this game just like seems right up my alley, which is why it made it to the list at all. This game is Horizon Zero Dawn. I know. I do love this game. I love the potential in it, but I'm not super far into the campaign. And I love the main character, Aloy. Love that her name is a metal and they live in like this metal prehistoric kind of world. And yet it's like dinosaur times. Those concepts together is just so interesting because they're just complete opposites on the spectrum. So I really love like the innovation with that. I love the gameplay, love that, you know, one of your main weapons is a bow and arrow, which if a bow and arrow is in a game, that's my weapon of choice, except in Hades. I don't really like it in that game. I love the world building and everything, but it's just, you know, I'm not that far into the game. But I remember when I first played the game, I got it for Christmas and I played it on that day on the PlayStation. And then, you know, because I am Christian, and in a Christian family, I had to turn the game off because my parents were like, what is this all-mother situation that's going on? So I had to turn it off, and I'm like, you know, I'll play it when they leave. So I really did like the game, and I, you know, kept coming back to the game. Oh, and then another reason why I couldn't really play it anymore was because my sister's stupid dog somehow got the disc and chewed on it and made it unplayable. So like the PlayStation can't even read the disc. So thanks, Pouncer. Thanks a lot. So I think I'm just gonna wait for the game to go on sale on Steam and then buy it there because, you know, stupid dog. Stupid dog, you make me look bad. Next on the list, number 24 is gonna be Friday Night Funkin'. I know this game is like, it's like kind of like random, like a rhythm game. Guys, one thing about me is I love me a rhythm game. Every time I go to the arcade and I see a rhythm game, even if it's all in Japanese, I have to play it. And I have to get at least a B on it because I be doing my thing over there. That was a dumb joke. I'm sorry. I love playing rhythm games, and Friday Night Funkin', it's just like so fun. And I know it's kind of like basic because you're just like hitting the arrows and stuff, but it is really challenging because I know there are some rhythm games where it's like, at least at the arcade, it's just like a bunch of buttons in a circle and you have to like do all of this, and I guess you have to become Doc Ock in order to hit all these buttons simultaneously. But I really love Friday Night Funkin'. I don't really care for like the story that's there, but I love the music. It is so good, and I love the erect mode where the game is harder, but like the music is completely different from the original soundtracks that they made, so it's like a remix kind of thing. So I really love playing on that mode. I only play it on Fridays. That's the funny thing. Number 23 is Demo, which is another rhythm game that I played years ago. It's a piano rhythm game. So like Friday Night Funkin', it's more like different genres of music, like hip hop, rap, like kind of like an 80s vibe. It's just like a whole mix. But for demo, it's primarily piano, but there are like some, you know, strings involved, but it's mostly piano. You play as this girl that falls down a hole, and she meets this shadow-like being that is really skilled at the piano. So their goal is to grow this tree so that she can climb out of the hole that she fell in, so she can return to her home and everything. And it's like one of those stories that doesn't really have dialogue, at least from what I remember. It's been like a while since I played it, but it deserved to be on the list because I really enjoyed the subtle storytelling that was going on. The piano music is good. You can also buy like extra piano songs from other composers that aren't like necessarily a part of the main storyline, but the base game has like tons of free piano songs that you can play that go along with the story of, like, I feel like I'm not explaining it well. But there's like one piano music piece thing that you can buy where it's by Brian Crane or Kane, one of two. But his music on there is so beautiful. The piano songs also have these artist illustrations of kind of what the song represents. It's really cool. I really love the game. It's very beautiful, very moving and emotional, heartbreaking, but just like it's just like a very comforting game. I really like playing it. Next on the list is going to be Rayman 3. Oh my gosh. This is where nostalgia comes into play. So Rayman 3 was one of my favorite games that I played as a kid. So I don't know how to describe this without sounding weird, but you play as this character named Rayman, and he doesn't have any limbs, but he has the end parts of the limbs. So he doesn't have legs, but he has feet. So it's just air right there. I guess like his limbs are invisible. No, they're not really invisible either. They just aren't there. And then he doesn't have arms, but he has hands. He doesn't have a neck, but he has a head. And he has a torso, but like none of the limbs connect to his torso. I know it's very weird. It sounds like I'm playing a horror game, but I promise it's a really fun game. I don't even remember like what the plot really is. Like, you had to find these things called hoodlums, which, you know, that's kind of interesting name to pick. You basically have to fight these hoodlums because they kidnap people, they're destroying the world. I don't know. All I remember is that the game, you can get like these kind of, the best way I can describe it is if you played Kingdom Hearts 2 and you got the dry forms that Sora gets, where it like changes his outfit and he gets new powers. So like that's like one of the main mechanics in the game, and it is so cool, bro. Like there's like one where you can kind of fly and stretch out and like swing on these vines, and then there's another one where he has like a blue and red combination, and his knuckles have like these brass knuckles situation going on. It's like really spiked and it's like a really punk rock look. But yeah, I really love this game for nostalgia reasons. I played it with my brother and a little bit with my dad, so this game is very special to me. Next up is Little Nightmares, and I didn't like rank it with like, okay, Little Nightmares is here, Little Nightmares 2 is here. Nah, I don't want to do all that. I was just saying Little Nightmares as a franchise, because I really like the games. Little Nightmares 2, I think, would probably be my favorite. If you watch my gaming videos, I use Little Nightmares music like very often because it has like that good creepy vibe to play in the background. I love the story. The story's so interesting. The concept too reminds me so much of Spirited Away for some reason. And I love like the concept of like these little small kids, like they're like the size of ants compared to these very big and gargantuan adults that are cannibals, and they're just feeding on stuff and they just never stop eating. Again, this game has like no dialogue, and I love games where you don't need words to be spoken in order to understand what's going on, and it allows for a lot of room to interpret what you think is happening in the story, because it's just like a lot of like subtle stuff that's going on, a lot of environmental storytelling, which is like another thing that I love, because like I feel like some games they don't implement that a lot, but in this game, like environmental storytelling, that's really going to tell you what's really happening, and I love that you can interpret it basically any way that you want because of what context was provided for you. And I love the characters too. I can't wait till the third game comes out. I don't know when it's coming out. I've been waiting. Next up, this might come as a shock to you. This next one is gonna be Genshin Impact. I know, like, why is it so low on the list? You play it all the time on your channel. I know, bro. But look, guys, at the end of the day, it is a gacha game. I can't rank it too high, you know? I got a love-hate relationship with it because you can have fun with the game without spending money. And like, I emphasize that with my playthrough on the channel, that you don't need to spend money, even though I bought the battle pass like 3 times, but that's different, okay? Like, I don't buy money on like, you know, getting crystals and primos. I haven't even bought the blessing of the Welcome Moon thing. But I just wanted to emphasize my channel that you don't need to spend money in order to enjoy this game. But it is still even hard to enjoy the game. That was so hard for me to say because I don't know how to word it. But it is still kind of hard to enjoy the game because the storytelling is so inconsistent, and it makes me like it's such a downer because like they have so much potential, but because it's a mobile game and they kind of rely on updates in order to stay like relevant, which actually like really works well for them, I think. It's just like it leaves room for a lot of error. I feel that if Genshin just released as a full game and, you know, they actually had time to develop the story and look at the overall story and piece all the things together, the game would be so good, so freaking good, because I do love the lore, the world building, all the environmental storytelling. I do like the characters. The dialogue can be a little bit long, but I think overall the game would have been so much better if it was just like, you know, a game like Breath of the Wild. It was just like a fully released full game, like what it could have been. That's like what's so sad about it, because like this game is good. It's just like has so many moments where it's not up to the level that they usually would be sometimes. Next up might also come as a surprise. It's gonna be Animal Crossing New Horizons. Even though I have over 1,000 hours in this game, doesn't mean I fully love this game. And I know that's a strange thing to say. If you bought Animal Crossing during launch, you know what was going on. The whole world was on lockdown. I had nothing else to do. So I was playing Animal Crossing all the freaking time. So I do appreciate the timing of when this game came out. Timing that was a bit too convenient, if you ask me. I personally feel like the music is overhated. I love the music. Like, people, they're like, oh, the New Leaf music is so much better. The GameCube music is so much better. I'm like, okay, but the New Horizons music, like, isn't bad. Like, I feel like it's like the perfect background music, like a lot of the Animal Crossing songs are. But the music, it's overhated. Y'all are focusing on the wrong thing. Like, can we talk about how the villagers are kind of soulless and they all say the same things? I want to get to that. I love like the graphic improvement in New Horizons. Love that there's different skin tones. Love that there's like other things you can do. You have so much freedom to design everything. You can decorate outside. You can even decorate your villager's house and, you know, just rule over them like a dictator. And I guess if you like that sort of thing, this is a great game. But, you know, it does have its flaws. It feels like the game was focused more on creating your own world than it is about community. And I feel like the base of what Animal Crossing is as a franchise is about building a community, not building the physical part of community. It's about making those emotional connections, making friendships. Your villagers are mad. You want to make them feel better, but you know, it's not as easy as just going up to them and being like, hey, it's okay. And then they just snap right out of it. It's like, you gotta like wait for them to feel those emotions. And I really miss that about New Horizons because it didn't really have that. But I still think that this game deserves to be in my top 25 just because this game allowed me to make so many new friends that I'm like still friends with to this day. Been friends with for years, actually. And I've found like one of my best friends like ever because of this game. Even though it didn't build a community virtually within the game, it built a community virtually in real life. So I can't thank that game enough for all the wonderful people it brought me to. Next is Pokemon Emerald. It is so hot in here. It's because I think I feel your anger permeating from the screen, and I feel that you might be upset. It feels like I'm like talking to an angry mob and I have to like stay calm while everyone is like throwing tomatoes and torches at me. So Pokemon Emerald is one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time, and that's because I've only played about 4. And it's one of the 2 that I played fully. I don't really finish games. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm not really someone that can finish a game. I'm really sorry. I let you down. I know. I'm going to do better. But I really love Pokemon Emerald. It was like one of the main games that, this is going to sound so sappy, but it allowed me to bond with my brother. I really love the starters in that game. Before I say my starter, who's y'all's starter? Now, don't judge me on my starter. But I always choose Trico. Okay, I always choose Trico. Trico is the homie. He is so cool. I don't care if he's a grass type. That's my bestie. Okay, I'm gonna go on like on a little side tangent. But when it comes to starters, I will pick the one that is the cutest to me personally. Torchic is cute, but it's like, I don't like his 3rd stage. So that really determines which starter I'm going to choose. Do I like all of their stages? Is the middle stage a little bit too awkward teenager phase to me? Is the 3rd stage, am I going to be able to look at it for a long period of time without throwing up? Is the 1st stage cute at all? Like, I really have to heavily consider these things because some starters, they're cute the 1st stage, 2nd stage, they look weird. The 3rd stage, they look even worse. And that really is the main thing that I look for. The 1st generation, they're all perfect. Every single stage throughout, they're great. And another thing that like influenced my reason for picking starters is because the anime as well. The way the anime portrayed some of the starters with their own distinct personalities, their own character arcs for Pokemon, guys. It's so hard for 1st gen for me to pick a starter because they're all so good. Someone said that Bulbasaur didn't actually really get a distinct personality. And I'm just like, did you not watch the Pokemon movie? When he saw that Togepi was crying and then he picked him up and started rocking her to sleep? Do you not remember that? I was so offended when they said that. Bulbasaur is so underrated. Now, would I choose him if I played the first Pokemon? Not really. I would probably choose Squirrel. I still love Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is so cute. Number 17, we got A Short Hike. This game is so beautiful. Even though I haven't finished the game, I think I only have 10 minutes left of gameplay before I actually finish it. But I have this thing where if I feel like I'm close to finishing a game, I won't finish it because I don't want the experience to end. So I will put it off for a very, very long time. Like in Breath of the Wild, I literally have all 4 of the Divine Beasts. The next step I have to take is to go to Ganon's castle. But I'm like, I don't want it to end. Like, you know what? Let me get back to like those 30 side quests that I've been putting off and just do those instead. A Short Hike. It has kind of an Animal Crossing vibe to it, where you go to this kind of camping retreat and then You go around talking to people, helping them out. You participate in games and stuff. There's like one game that's actually super fun. It's like I think it's like tennis or something. It's like the one by the beach. I can't remember. Very cute characters. It has like a very cute style. It has an autumn vibe to it, like summer and autumn. And I don't really know how to describe the game. You just kind of have to go play it. I believe it's about $5 to play it on the Switch. But I think on Steam, it's like $20. So I don't know what's going on with that. I highly recommend this game. If you want like a cozy game that's, not really about farming or like having to manage a shop or anything like that, this is literally just going around talking to people, doing errands, kind of like a little bit of puzzles that you have to do, and just like managing what person needs what. Like this one character might be like, I want 3 seashells. And then you have to go around the island and find those seashells. And then someone else is like, well, I want 5 seashells. And then you're like, oh, okay, then I got to do the math. Stuff like that. But it's really fun. Very like low stakes kind of thing. The next one, I do classify it as a cozy game, but it kind of deals with a lot of profound themes like death and grief, and learning how to deal with that grief and moving on, healing and stuff. So this one is going to be Spiritfarer. This game my brother bought for me for Christmas. I asked him if he can buy me a game, and I said, surprise me. And then he got me this game, and I really, really ended up enjoying it. And I was like, wow, my brother knows me so well. This game, you play as this kind of, I wouldn't say like a reaper, because you don't kill anyone, but you play as kind of a fairy person. You go around and collect souls that haven't fully moved on to the afterlife. So you're kind of like a person that takes care of them in a limbo state. So you have to operate on this boat, and you collect these passengers, and you feed them, you talk to them. There's a thing where you can hug them too, and you kind of have to keep their mood up like The Sims. So you have to make sure everyone's happy. I don't know what happens if you're sad, because I'm really successful at the game, so they're never sad on my boat. I mean, I don't think you would want them to be sad. They might leave if they're sad, but I don't really know, because, that's never happened to me. But anyway, so you have to collect all these passengers and hear about their backstory and stuff. Not really how they died, but kind of the stuff that they were dealing with before they died. So like one might have been like heartbreak and not reconciling with someone that they really loved, or someone that never got to say goodbye to someone and like now they're gone. And so they have like all like these different stories of what their life was like before they died. And then so like once they figure it out, then you take them to the other side, and have to learn to let them go, because there were a couple characters in there that I was just like, I don't want them to go. I really like them. And then so I would procrastinate on allowing them to leave. You have to truly learn how to let go in that game. And it's really an emotional experience. So if you want to cry and also manage a boat and build stuff, this is the game for you. The next one is called Sky Children of the Light. I love this game so much. And it's a game that I beat. What I really like about this game is that you can play it by yourself and still have the full experience of the game, or you can kind of do a co-op situation where people that are also playing the game can end up in your world, and then you make friends with them and y'all can actually beat the game together. This game started out as a mobile game, I believe. So I was playing it on my iPad. My iPad got hot every time. It would be burning to the touch every time I played it, but it was like so worth it. It was such a fun game. I don't really know how to explain this game, because it's so, you play as this being of light, you end up losing your light, and then you have to go and find it by collecting small bits of light. The game is like about community, friendship, no dialogue. I love me a game where there's no speaking. It's free. It's on the Switch. It's a mobile game and it's on Steam. And it's a really lovely game. And it's one of those games that it's like really good, but you just don't really know how to describe what's going on. But I promise you, it is so fun. Like if you're really into the cozy genre, really good. Next up, we have Borderlands 2. This game is so freaking good. It has one of my favorite villains of all time, Claptrap. The real answer is Handsome Jack. Oh my gosh. Handsome Jack is like, without a doubt, just like the best villain ever. I don't know how they did it, but this character, he is so menacing, yet he's charming. He's funny, yet he's so intimidating and so intelligent. And they were able to balance all of these things. You know, he's also attractive low key. I mean, they don't call him Handsome Jack for nothing. It's like a game where you choose what character you want to play. So you can choose between 4 to 6 characters, depending on like which game it is. And like if you have like DLC, I don't know. You don't really like play their story. Your mission is to unlock something that's called a vault. And it has like this ancient treasure and power within it. And then the villain, he doesn't want you to open the vault, because he wants to get to the vault first, because he wants the power in there. So Handsome Jack, he is constantly trying to stop you from reaching the vault. And what I love about the Borderlands games is that they have like this comm system where random characters, you can hear their dialogue, whether it's like in passing or that character will just directly call you. So Handsome Jack, what is so funny is that he will call you at random points in the game just to bother you. There's like a very infamous dialogue exchange that happens like in like the beginning of the game where he calls you and he's bragging about this pony he just bought. And he's like, yeah, like this pony, it's so fancy, like you can never afford it. What should I name it? Should I name it after you? Yeah, I should probably name it after you. Like, I'll call it like Buttface or something like that. It's like nothing important, but he would just like call you and just be like, I hate you, and then hang up. It is so good. And then there's like other times where he'll call you and then he will just be so menacing. And you might think it's like inconsistent, but it really fits his character, and I just love that so much. The game itself is like really fun. Like you get different guns, and guns have like different qualities to them. Like there's some guns that shoot stuff that will melt people, set people on fire, or it'll spit acid, or something called slag and stuff. So it's like really fun collecting all the guns and then finding your preferred loadout. So there's like one game, it's not in this game, but it's Moxie's gun. I really love that gun. That gun is so good. And then there's a gun that Zero gives you in Borderlands 3. And it's like one of my favorite snipers so far. I love me a sniper. Borderlands 3, you know, it's fun, okay? But I hate the villains. They did not hit the mark on that one. And it could have been really, really good because it was too... You know what? I'm not even going to go on this rant. I already went on this rant before. Next on the list is Oxenfree. This game has everything. It has time travel, radios, alternate universes, and teenagers that get possessed by vengeful ghosts. It is so fun. So this game, you play as this girl named Alex, one of the best protagonists of all time, by the way. And you're going on this island with a few other teenagers, and it's supposed to be like this huge kind of graduation party that's going on, but only 5 other people show up. So you're kind of just like, what are we supposed to do? And then the one character is like, hey, let's play around with this radio that you got. And then you play with the radio and weird stuff starts happening. And I'm not going to like elaborate on that, even though I kind of just like semi-spoiled it earlier. It's a very interesting game. It has a lot of dialogue, but I think it's still like worth listening to. The dialogue is really natural because if you haven't noticed, I say and a lot, and they do that in the game, so I really like that. And just did it again, and it's a really unique art style. I love the backgrounds, so I'm not going to go too much into detail about it, but I highly recommend the game. It's like, it is so good. The storytelling and like the game mechanic and how I love when games where the game mechanics ties in heavily with the story itself. I don't really see that a lot in games. Like sometimes it's kind of like, oh, you have like this legendary weapon, but it's not really important to the overall story and with the gameplay. I don't know if that made sense, but I think it will make sense later when I talk about another game. Next up, we have What Remains of Edith Finch. That was so hard to say. You play as this woman. She's going to her childhood home and she's kind of like going through the house, reliving memories. And it's a very heavy narrative kind of story. It's like her narrating and then it's also other characters narrating, if I remember it correctly. Like sometimes I think other people are talking. Not 100% sure on that, but you like really have to like listen to what the characters are saying. So she's going through her house and she's reminiscing about how odd it is of the deaths in her family. Like there have been so many deaths and she's not sure why. All the family members, they die in some kind of horrific way. They're kind of like mini Greek tragedy stories in a way. It's like they die in a way that was foreshadowing and it's kind of like fitting that they would die from it. So it's kind of like poetic, but it's also very tragic that it happened to them. There's like one that has always stayed with me because it was just, at the time that I played it, I really related to it. Not anymore, but like I was like, wow, I feel that one. And if you play the game, it was a one with Lewis Finch. I think that's his name. Lewis Finch? Yes, Lewis Finch. His, oh my gosh. Like that one, man, I really got to replay that game on the channel. Why is my internet so slow, bro? Did we pay the bill? I'm going to spoil it because I got to talk about it. That one, it stayed with me because his story is he's working at this kind of really boring job that's really monotonous and stuff. You're doing the same thing over and over. And also it's like a job that the average person I don't think could work there. He works at like this kind of fish place and his job is to like cut off the fish of the heads and then send like the bodies down the chute and stuff. It is a very repetitive thing that you have to do. And I think in the game itself, you actually have to play that part a little bit to like really understand what he was going through. So like a job like that, first of all, working with fish, that's not pleasant because the smell, I can't even imagine like going home every day and you gotta try all like your best to wash that smell off. And then it probably doesn't even like wash off all the way. And even if it does, you can still smell it. And it's like constantly on you and your clothes and you just can't escape the smell. And it's constantly reminding you of this job that you hate. And so every day that he worked there, he would just be really depressed because, you know, he hated working there. And a lot of people, I feel like, related to that story because if we had the option, I don't think any of us would want to work. Like, we only work kind of because we have to. Like, there are some people that work their jobs and they love their job, and that's great. But there are so many people that it's just like, if I could just like stay home and get money, I would love that. Like during the pandemic, when my job told me to stay home and they would still pay me, I was like, heck yeah, I'm not about to come to work. But this game at the time, I was working a job that I did not like at all. And I was doing like the same thing over and over. And I just hated it. And it was like sucking the soul out of me. I remember I was so like depressed during that time. And then but I'm out of that now. I'm happier, way happier now. So in this game, while he's at work, to pass the time, he starts daydreaming, which is something I relate to heavily. I daydream so often. And so he would daydream that he was a king. I mean, he is. He doesn't have to dream about it. But like that was like his way of coping with the job that he was working. So he built this fantasy world that he could escape to whenever he was at his job. It came to a point where he continued to fantasize about that world when he left his job. And then so this world was consuming him, and it was like at one point it was all that he could see. And the way the game portrays that is so freaking good. I'm not gonna say this part because it's like I don't even want to say it because it's so sad. But he ends up meeting his end, and it's like a really just like a horrible thing to happen. And like that one, it just like really hit me because I related to it. It's a part of the story that I think about really often. It's a lot of emotional impact there. Definitely recommend it. Might make you cry. Just putting that out there. Next up, we got Stray. I was looking on Reddit one time after I finished the game, and also looked on the reviews on Steam, and like some of the feedback it got was kind of like annoying because people are just like, you play as a cat in this game, you like scratch at the rugs, and there's like no point of doing it. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. You play as a cat, you're gonna do things that are pointless. You're gonna do cat things when you play as a cat. Like, yeah. And it was just like feedback that was just like, why are you even posting this? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. And like saying like there's no significance of like knocking things over, and I'm just like, yeah, because cats do that with no real purpose at all. Yeah, I accidentally played it and beat it within the same day. So like you play as this cat, and it's in a post-apocalyptic world, and I love dystopian, post-apocalyptic, apocalypse-related stuff, anything. Like, even if it's trash, I will engage with it. I don't know why. I'm just like so fascinated by dystopian worlds. Like that's just my jam. Play as this cat that ends up being separated from its family, and you basically have to go through this rundown city and find your way back to your family. But you know, there's like monsters down there, so you have to like avoid the monsters because you can't fight them. You're just a cat. And then you are also traveling with like this floating robot thing. And then you go in the city, and then it turns out that there's like a bunch of robots that live there. It's kind of a spoiler. Not really, but I'm just gonna say spoiler just in case. But like this game, you come across these robots, and I feel like when it comes to dystopian stuff, when robots are introduced, they're usually like the bad guys, or the robots hate humanity for some reason. But in this game, the robots loved humanity. They were enamored by humanity. They were inspired by them. These robots, they take care of plants that they don't need to take care of because there are no humans around. All the humans are gone. I don't know if they died or if they left, but it's just the robots now. They loved humanity so much that they do stuff that humans used to do. Like they have their own barber shop and they're cutting hair, but they don't have hair. They just do that because that's what they saw humans do. They have their own bars. They don't need to eat or drink, but they have these bars where they can buy drinks, but there's no need for it. And I just really love how they did that because they were so human while also not being human. There are a few like hard-hitting quotes in there too. Yeah, I love this game. It was so close to making the top 10. You know what? Actually, I don't know why it's in the top 10. I wish there was like another number, like in between numbers. Not like half numbers. I'm not stupid. I mean, like, what if there was like a number after 8 that was like kins, like 7, 8, kins, 9, 10, you know, like, so that I could put Stray in there, and then it'll be still be my top 10. It's just like there's like a number not added there. You know what? I might make my own math system. Let's just change math. The criticism I got, invalid. I don't care. The storytelling within it too. It's like a lot of reading in between the lines as well. Subtext, a lot of subtext. The environments are great. I love it. The story is so freaking good, and leaves like a lot of room for interpretation and like filling in the gaps and everything. And it's fun to play as a cat. I don't know why people didn't have fun with it. I will say that it was kind of restrictive of like where the cat could jump to, but that's really like the only issue I had with it. And even then, that's like more of a nitpick. So now we're about to get into my top 10. Number 10. It's Pokemon Arceus. And I know, why are you ranking this game above Pokemon Emerald? So Pokemon Arceus literally changed the game. I haven't played like the other Pokemon games, but I saw how they were received by the general community. Basically, when they switched over to the Switch and started releasing Pokemon games there, the quality started like going downhill. And I think even before then, it was like going downhill. These games were just not receiving the kind of ratings they would usually get. When I saw the trailer for Pokemon Legends for the first time, I was like, I need this game when it launches, because it was so interesting of like the mechanics they introduced of like looking like you could fight the Pokemon yourself as the trainer, dodge rolling away from Pokemon in battle with them, being able to stand next to your Pokemon in battle. Like you could actually like walk around and stuff. Pokemon can attack you. And it's just like so many different things that they introduced. Like you can actually physically catch. Truly a game changer, because they were changing the genre itself. I really loved that innovation, because it gave me hope that they would start including that in more of their games, because it was so interactive, felt like you were actually there. Playing the game itself was super fun. Me and my friend, we were playing it every single day, talking about like what new Pokemon that we caught, if we saw any shinies and stuff. And just like the story itself, the story was, you know, it's a Pokemon game. Like the story's like, it's not going to be life-changing, you know. Although I do like the story in Alpha Sapphire so far. It's actually like, are these really the bad guys? Like, I'm kind of agreeing with them. Yeah, and I love like the different Pokemon that you can catch. I wasn't really a fan of the starters though. And, you know, for Pokemon ZA, I don't really like the stories for that one either. I'm probably going to go with the blue gator. Sorry, no disrespect. I just don't remember his name. But yeah, I really, really loved this game. And it had me in a chokehold when it first came out. However, it's not a game that I go back to often. It's kind of like Animal Crossing New Horizons, where I turn it on, I kind of walk around, and then I turn it off. So you're like, why is this in your top 10 anyway? Well, shut up. Next we have Borderlands, the pre-sequel. I know. Put the gun down. I know. Why are you ranking this game above Borderlands 2? That doesn't make any sense. Look, I know. Here's the thing. The way I rank stuff, what influences it is what I was going through at the time, the phase in my life, who I was playing the game with, nostalgia, a lot of different aspects. So this game, it's about to get sad for a second, but don't feel bad. It's gonna be okay. I just wanted to give you context. So I had played and beaten this game at one point in my life, but then someone that was really close to me, they ended up passing away. I was, you know, grieving. And it was like the first time someone in my life that was like really, really close to me passed on. So I was dealing with like a lot of complex emotions that I didn't know how to handle. So I revisited Borderlands the pre-sequel, and you know, it made me feel better being able to shoot these psychos. in-game FBI agent, I'm talking about a game. So taking my grief out on these pixels helped me feel better. Besides that, I really do like the game. I think it gets unnecessary hate because I like the characters. The story is still good. Like I really don't see why it's hated as much as it is, because it's so fun. The guns are really great. Timothy Lawrence is in the game. That alone makes it a 10 out of 10. And it also shows like the downward spiral of Handsome Jack and why he is the person that he is in present day. And also reveals things about other characters like Moxie and Athena. It shouldn't be hated. It's really good. Next up is Breath of the Wild. I mean, you already know this game's a 10 out of 10. I don't think I need to explain like why this game is really good, but I feel like it was like another game that me and my friend bonded over. So it's really special to me in that regard, but also it was just like really, really fun. Like the way they illustrated nature, the concept of foraging, and all the different weapons like you can use. Just like there are just so many things that are good about that game that I don't have the time to get into. But if you haven't played this game, you definitely should. You don't even need to have played every single Legend of Zelda game in order to understand this game. Because I went into that game not knowing anything about Zelda or Link. I thought Link was Zelda. In fact, the story itself is kind of just like basic. Like, there weren't really moments that moved me to tears or anything, or Tears of the Kingdom for that matter. Get tears. I still think like the innovation in this game, the creativity, just like the amount of things that you can do, like the shrines, there are so many different ways that you can solve a puzzle, and it just like really allows room for creativity. Next up we have Animal Crossing New Leaf. And yeah, I'm gonna rank it above New Horizons. So this is a game that I revisit so often throughout so many times just during my life. Like when it first came out when I was a child, played it, in my teenage years, played it during college, and now even in my adulthood, I still revisit that game often because it is such a timeless game. The music is so great. I love the villagers. And another thing I really like about this game that I wish was done in New Horizons is that the villagers, like not just like how much personality they have, but also like the villagers you get, you're kind of like stuck with them. Like that the whole New Horizons of like, this is how to get really your villagers. That kind of thing just kind of took away the community part of the game, because it is so easy to get rid of villagers in New Horizons, whereas in New Leaf it's like you can still kind of find a way around it, but it's like more difficult. Like the villagers you get, like that's what you get, and you're gonna be with them for a while. And I really like that, because a game where you can do whatever you want, sure, as a concept that sounds fun, but if like the main message of the game is community and talking to your villagers, it kind of takes away if there is so much freedom to break apart that community, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I really hope in the next Animal Crossing game, whenever it comes out, 2030, I guess, I hope that the community aspect is really taken into mind, because New Horizons kind of feels empty without the villagers, because like the villagers are the heart of the game. But New Leaf, they all just feel, you feel a lot closer to them. Even villagers that in New Horizons would have never allowed on my island, I got really close to. Like Angus, I don't really like any of the cows except the strawberry one, Norma. But Leonardo, that is like a character that I never thought that I would like as much as I do. And he's now like one of my favorite villagers. Probably my favorite. And he's a jock. The jocks are overhated, by the way. I don't understand. And I mean this in New Horizons and New Leaf. Like, the jocks are like, they're like kind of like himbos. Next, we have Undertale. Like, when you look at the game, you might think it's kind of dated. What is so special about this game? But I'm telling you, this is like one of those games that's just like, you play as this child that fell down in a hole. Okay, the second game where a child falls in a hole. You're basically trying to get back to the surface, and you meet all these different monsters, nice ones, some that want to fight you. But the thing about the game is that you can either fight these monsters and kill them, or you can just not fight at all. I really, really love that, because it really shows you as a player, like, kind of like who you are as a person. Because like, if you play the game with no context of what the game is about or anything, and you go on a genocide run, it kind of tells a lot about who this person is. I tried the genocide run. I couldn't do it. When I got to Papyrus, I was like, nah. Yeah, the music in this game is so wonderful. I use it a lot in my videos too. And like the story itself of just like life, developing friendships and things. And there's like one quote that I really, really love, where you look in the mirror and then it says, despite everything, it's still you. Man, bro, that quote gets me all the time, because that is just so true. Like, you can go through some stuff, but like still at your core be the same person. And that's like such a beautiful thing because it really shows like how strong of a person you are. And I really love that message. And it's like not even like dialogue that's just like in the main storyline. Like you can end up missing that dialogue, but it happens if like you're curious enough and like poke around at different objects that you get that quote. And it's just like, oh, it's so good. Dang, everyone and their mom is like coming home right now. Everyone and their mom. My mom. We are now in the top 5. My number 5. It's gotta be Hades, bro. It's gotta be Hades. This is a game I did not think I was gonna like as much as I do. If you see me play Hades, which you should go check out, by the way, those videos haven't been doing well and, you know, it's whatever. But truly everything about it is perfect. The music is so good. And I love, like, there are like these subtle things that are done with the music of like when you go to a new area, the music changes, but it's not like an abrupt change. And then when a certain song is playing and then you pause it and then the music becomes muffled. I love that because it's like so subtle. It is like, it's so good. The character designs are so inspiring. You can tell that so much love and care and research went into their designs. Nyx, her design is phenomenal. I remember just like being so shocked when I first saw it. Athena, Dionysus, Aphrodite, even though she literally has no clothes on, but she looks so beautiful. Ares, Zagreus, they're all just so good, so distinct. I really love the voice acting. And I love the sound mixing of the voice acting. So like some characters, they have like this reverb kind of voice where they kind of sound distant and like the levels are like fluctuating. Like for certain characters, their voice sounds really haunting depending on who it is. And I really love that because they just don't sound human. I was about to say I love the music. I already said that. I really love the music. I love the story. And I love, like I mentioned earlier, when the game mechanic itself ties in with the story. So like the story is like you play as Zagreus and you're trying to get out of the underworld, but it's the underworld, so you keep dying over and over when you fight these monsters. And so then you have to like start over from the beginning. It's like a dungeon crawl game, I think it's called. I really like that because the concept, narratively, Zagreus is trying to get out of the underworld, but because it's the underworld, if he dies, he still stays where he's at. And then the game mechanic itself is you're fighting. If you die, you start over. And that just mixes perfectly. Like how I was saying with Oxenfree, the whole story itself is about the radio, messing around with the radios and like the like ghosts and stuff. And then the game mechanic itself, you're controlling a radio. So it's like you're directly influencing what's happening in the story. So I think that's what I mean. It's like it's more interactive because it feels like you are the character. Because like when I play Hades, I feel like I am Zagreus. Like I also get as upset with him if I lose, more so than if I was playing just like a regular game like I don't know, like Borderlands. If I lose, like, you know, I'm upset. But with Zagreus, when I play as him, it's like a lot more intense because I was just like, dang it, I was so close to getting out of the underworld. Like I'm feeling what Zagreus is feeling. And I felt the same with Oxenfree with Alex, where she's like messing with the radio and then something bad happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, I messed up. Like, what did I do? Because I, as a player, alongside with Alex, am controlling the radio. And that's just like, that is so perfect because it makes you feel really involved with the game and builds a kind of empathy that I don't think a lot of games are able to really capture. Love Hades so much. So freaking good. All the characters are so hot. Except Hades. Hades? If I catch you, Hades... If I catch you in these streets, it's hands on sight. I don't care if you can kill me with a snap. I don't care. I'll make it hard for you. I'll be the most annoying person to try to kill. I'm not going to give you an easy win, bro. All right, next we have Uncharted 4, which just so happens to be in the number 4 spot. I mentioned this before, in my Uncharted video when I was like attempting to play it, that this game, I saw Jacksepticeye play like when it first came out. And it's one of those games that I don't think I would have found on my own, honestly. And when he was playing it, I was so in love with it. It was like love at first sight because like the graphics, the storytelling was so good. And I distinctly remember the part where he stopped in the gameplay is like when I decided I need to go get this game for myself. Right before Nathan and Sam are about to crash up this fancy gala party thing going on. And then I was like, you know what? I need to go buy this game. I need to buy it. And then so I went to my brother and I was like, hey bro, this game just came out. I think we should go buy a PlayStation 4 today and go get this game. And we went to Target and we split it. He claims to this day that he paid for most of it and I paid for like the rest of it. But I personally think that we did 50-50 on it, but you know, it's whatever. And I remember we were debating on whether we should get the regular PlayStation or if we should get the Uncharted 4 PlayStation. To this day, I regret not getting the Uncharted 4 PlayStation. And then we ended up buying the game and we ended up playing it that day. And I believe we like played it all the way through together, at least like parts of it. And it was such a good game. And to this day, we both love the game as much as when it first came out. And another thing, helped me bond with my brother, all of that. As you can see, there is a pattern where some of the games that I cherish most is if I was bonding with someone when I was playing the game. I will say that Nathan Drake is kind of a psychopath. One of the main things you do in the game is that, you know, you kill a bunch of people and these people might not even like be like evil or anything. They're kind of just soldiers doing what they're told and not even really doing anything like bad. They're kind of just doing what Nathan's doing, but like in an evil way, I guess. And then he just like kills all these people and he's like, well, that just happened, or like some kind of witty line. And it's like, wow, Nathan really doesn't care when he kills these people. Like there's a word for it. It kind of like takes you out of the game because it's like, whoa, Nathan, I think you're the bad guy here. And that's like what I was like mentioning earlier. Hades and Oxenfree, they do it really well where what you're doing in the game matches like what the narrative is saying, but with Uncharted, it's like complete opposites. It's like you're playing two different games. And that brings me to the next game on my list, which is Last of Us. In Joel's case, the main character, it makes sense why you do the things that you do. Like, why are you killing all these people? It's to protect this little girl that's with you. It makes sense in his case, and also makes sense with him as a character, because even if he wasn't protecting Ellie, he would still kind of do those things anyway because he's not exactly a good person. So he you know, kind of does kill without mercy, kill dozens of people back to back. He doesn't really care. And it fits his character. With Nathan, he's kind of like this charming and witty kind of character, but then he turns around and then kills like 30 people and then jokes about it. Well, not like about it, but just like about the situation, and it's kind of weird. But with Joel and Last of Us, it really makes sense. And you know, it's one of those games I think about often. I watched the show. I love season 1. Season 2 I have mixed feelings for, some which are like very personal. If you know, you know. Like once it was like brought to my awareness, and then I watched the show and I'm like, oh, I see what they're talking about. That kind of sucks. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna like watch it. And then like it was like really disappointing anyway. So I'm like not really missing out on much. Now this next one, my number 2, might come as a surprise because it's like, why are you ranking this above Last of Us if it's like the same concept when it was done better in Last of Us? Hey, look, this is my list. Okay, I'll rank it however I want. So this next one is The Walking Dead Season 1. Season 1 specifically. People compare Ellie and Clementine often, which is kind of weird because it's like they would be besties. Like they would definitely be best friends. Why are y'all pitting these two queens against each other? And then it's like the same concept. You play as this grown man that's taking care of a little girl. But the thing is, their dynamics are kind of the same, but also not the same. They're very distinct. So with Joel and Ellie, there is like that father-daughter kind of situation going on, but Joel isn't exactly a nurturing figure. Like, you know, he kind of has like that southern dad vibe where he doesn't like really apologize, but like he kind of like does like these acts of service as an apology, whereas Lee would probably actually apologize. Joel and Ellie, their relationship is kind of like more intense with anger and heartbreak, whereas Lee and Clementine, it's more nurturing, compassionate, caring, and stuff. And it's a dynamic that I prefer over Joel and Ellie. And then also with The Walking Dead, you play as Lee, and you also make choices that could dictate how Clementine reacts, what happens to her, and things related to that. It makes you more involved with the game because if you make the wrong decision, bad things can happen. And you don't want bad things to happen to Clementine. So you really have to think about everything you're doing. But whereas like with Joel, you're just like kind of like killing people and you allow the story to just go on its kind of like linear path. But in The Walking Dead, there's like multiple endings you can get, multiple different things can happen. And it's all because of the choices that you as a player make. So it makes me feel a lot closer to the characters. That's like something that's like really important to me. Like when I'm playing a game, like, do I care about these characters? Do I feel any kind of empathy for them? Do I care if they reach their goal or not? Do I want them to succeed? And things like that, because a thing like that is like really hard to achieve because there is like the basic gamer mindset where you as the player want to succeed because you want to beat the game. But then there's like another aspect that doesn't like really get to a lot of players where you want to win because you want the character to win instead of you yourself. So yeah. I say like that, you know, profound thought, and then I ended with, and yeah. And that is my thesis. So I really loved the Walking Dead season 1. The other seasons, mixed feelings. I remember season 2 was just kind of like, what? Like, what's happening? Like, why is this child making all of these huge decisions? Didn't really make any sense. I feel like that could have been done better. Like, why are these full-grown adults relying on Clementine's decisions? I'm like, she's 10. She's like 10 years old. And then getting mad at her when she makes the wrong decision. I'm like, well, she's 10 years old. Season 3 kind of had mixed feelings with, but I prefer that over season 2. I think it was done better. And Javi. Season 4, I hated season 4. I think more than season 2. It was the way me and my friend were talking about all the Walking Dead seasons. And she's like, yeah, I didn't really like season 4. And I was like, season 4? She's like, yeah, you remember like when Clem and AJ go to that kid's orphanage? And I was like, wow, completely forgot that existed. I guess like I suppressed that memory because I hated it that much. Now, my number 1 is going to come as no surprise at all. Like, if you've watched me for a long time, if you know me, if you've watched maybe even one of my videos, you would know what my number 1 is. My number 1 is Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I know. No surprise. That's literally a no-brainer. But do y'all know which one specifically is my number 1? Kingdom Hearts 2, baby. All the way. It has all of my favorite things. One of those games that's like, it's a sequel, but it's better than the first one. The glow up all the characters got. I actually do want to make a video about this, of like the glow up and just like the fashion design, because it is just so good in that game. Kingdom Hearts 2 is goated. It is one of the best games, and I don't care If it's cringe, I don't care. It's one of the best games that have been made ever. I love the characters, the character designs. The music gets me every time, especially in Final Mix when they added stuff to the game. The new music is so good. I don't think The Other Promise was featured in the original Kingdom Hearts 2 because I feel like I would have remembered that. But that is like my all-time favorite song from Kingdom Hearts 2, and I love Beneath the Ground that plays when you fight in the Hades Cup or whatever it's called. That song is underrated. I feel like people don't really like know that song. And of course, Dearly Beloved, like all of its renditions. I loved all the new characters that were introduced. The Organization 13, they as a concept is so good. Even though every time you play a Kingdom Hearts game, I don't think all members existed at the same time. They call it the Organization 13 in Kingdom Hearts 2, but only like, I think 7 were alive at the time. I love the new worlds that they brought. The Lion King world is like one of my favorites. Love Twilight Town. Twilight Town is so beautiful. I love Roxas. I really need to make a Kingdom Hearts video. Seeing Roxas and then being like, who is this? And then you play the game more, and then like when he's leaving, you're like, wait, where are you going? Like, please stay. He's like my second favorite character. Riku, absolutely my favorite character. I love Riku so much. His character arc is so well done, and I will die on this hill that he should have been the main character. Not only that, he should have been the one to wield the true Keyblade. I love Sora, okay? I do. But he's kind of like too perfect. Now, I didn't play like all the games, but like I played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, 2.8, Birth by Sleep, a little bit of Chain of Memories. And so I kind of like got the gist of Sora's character. And it's just like, Riku is so much more interesting, you know? Tell me it wouldn't have been more interesting for Riku to have been the main character with him being the chosen one. Him letting it get to his head, thinking that he can balance light and darkness, and then going into the darkness, having like these issues of like who he should be, like what side he should be on, letting the darkness consume him, and then finding his way back to the light. Like that would have been so interesting. And I understand that like Sora is the main character because he's like so strong with the light and everything, and he's I guess like kind of the one that took Riku out of the darkness and everything. And like everyone loves Sora so much, and I do love Sora, I do, but it's just like it would have been really interesting if Riku was the main character. And like I do love Sora, but he's just like, he's kind of a flat character to me in my opinion. I might change my mind like when I replay all the games, because like I do plan on playing all the games on my channel. The side tangent I just went on. Yeah, and I also think like everyone else, like Kairi should get a lot more attention. I don't know why they gave so much personality to Aqua and Shion, but not to Kairi, who was like the first girl that's introduced. I don't understand. Like, why do they hate Kairi so much? And yeah, the story does start getting a little confusing with like the whole Xemnas and Ansem situation and Xehanort, like who is who kind of thing. And like it does have some like cringe moments, like did someone say the door to darkness, or like that was undeniable proof that we totally owned you lamers. Hey, I don't care. Like a game that can make me laugh and also cry, that's a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah, that is my all-time favorite games, and those are all of my other favorite games that I've ever played. Surprisingly, I've actually played a lot of games. I thought I've only played like 20. There are some games that I played that didn't make it to the list just because I wasn't like that connected with them, or I haven't like finished playing through it or played enough of it to actually have it make it to the list. Maybe one day I'll make like a top 50 and see if things on my list change. But I honestly think no game can surpass Kingdom Hearts 2. Like and also for nostalgia reasons, this was another game that me and my brother played together, whatever. Yeah, I don't think anything would ever beat Kingdom Hearts 2. I think that will always be my number one, just because it's just so fun alone and has so many quotable moments. It has Riku looking the hottest he's ever been, and it lasts for 15 minutes. I don't even want to get into that in this video. That's an injustice, truly. But yeah, those are all my favorite games. Let me know what your favorite games are. What games did you see on my list that's also your favorite game? Or like maybe you're just like, hey, I kind of think that you should have ranked it this way. Now, will I agree with you? Who knows? I love these games so much, especially those top 5 timeless games to me, truly. Yeah, if you ended up liking the video, give it a like, share, subscribe for more, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! I wish you the best. Love.